Hello friends, welcome to the very first tutorial where I will show you how to model these simple screws using Blender. So as you can see here I have created 4 different kind of screws as our learning exercise. I will first show this thread part of a screw, how to model it and what design parameters or things you need to be keep in your mind when you are going to design these threads. Okay, then I will show you how to create the head properly. You can see I have created this 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of heads, and for this exercise I am not using any fancy add-on. Using Blender's own native tools I have made all this design. So when I will jump to the actual scene, I will show you how it is made. Now one thing that is I would like to tell you that in this approach, I'm not using any Boolean modifier. And you see, if you look at any of this object, you will see it has very clean topology. There is no shading artifacts whatsoever. For example, if you look into this tip of it, as you see that it is multiple polygonal lines and merging to a single point, still there is no artifact, no pinching effect that otherwise you see in other modeling example. Okay, and these are subdivision ready. That means use it at any place you want. You can deform it, twist it, whatever you do, it will have no impact. Okay, so to show you that whether the model quality is good, let me switch to a different matte cap. Here I have chosen the metallic matte cap. As I told you, right, it is very nice, and I have tried to use quad topology. Okay, uh, so you can understand the flow, right? Let me switch to this metallic matte cap as well. You can see it is very nice. The edge flow, the light flow, everything is moving smoothly here. Okay, so without any other further wasting time, I let me set it to the default studio light and jump back to a vanilla blender scene where I'll be explaining how to model this part. Now, for as it is a first part of this screw modeling tutorial, I will show only the shaft creation and the tip creation part here. I later in the part, in subsequent part, maybe part 2 or part 3, I'll be touching different type of head of a screw, and finally I will show you how I model this absolutely realistic looking screw that you are seeing here. So if I enable that render version, you see it is absolutely perfect. Almost it looks like it just came from the factory. And though the material I have chosen it differently, but you can apply your own material and you will not see any difference from an original one. So this one I got a reference from this website, from this page. So I thought of let's try taking this challenge of modeling it, and I'm pretty happy. So let's jump into this the process of learning this thing so that we all do something and learn at the same time. Okay, so here I have opened as vanilla blender scene. I have saved it with the name screw underscore WIV, which means for working in progress. You can see the scene collection, it is empty. That means nothing is created. For this thing, I am using the Blender 4.5.3 because it comes with, it is the latest one available in the market, and I am very fond of that new grid fill enhancement that has been done of it. It makes our life much more easy when we are going to model this thing. Okay, so to do this thing, we need a couple of additional add-on. I mean, not the I would say it is not something you need to purchase or download from third-party system. It is enabled within own Blender extension library. Okay, right? So if you see, I have something called, if I try to add mesh, there is an option called single vert. So it actually comes from Blender own add-on that is called extra mesh. Okay, so if you don't see it, that add single vertex option in your add mesh menu, ensure to enable the extra mesh object, then only you will get the option of adding in. It's only just single vertex. Okay, others who don't have it, it is not a absolute necessary to have it. What you can do, you can just add any primitive surface. So if you can see, I have added a single uh, plane here. So I'll just select all and press M and merge, choose collapse. So what it will do, it will merge all the vertex of that plane to the 3D cursor. Okay, so you have a vertex created like that. This will not only it will work for mesh, it will work for any primitive, whether you take the Susan, torus, cone, or cube, doesn't matter. It will work for any vertex. Once you collapse it, it will merge everything to a single vertex. Okay, and there is also another way. Say, for example, you can create a circle and just remove all the other vertex. Then also you have got a vertex, though it is opposite from the center of the circle, but for our tutorial it will do. Okay, so that is also another way. So let me do by adding a single vertex at the center of the cursor, and then let me move it to the x-axis by some random value. We don't need to be specific, because now what we'll do, I will again go to object mode and go to the modifier, choose generate and add the screw modifier. Now as you can see, it has created a circle. As I have given any height to the screw, it is on the plane surface, right? So if I open the front perspective, you will see that it is a planar on planar face. So let me give a screw thing of say 0.8. Okay, so on the z axis it has moved to 0.8. So in order to create that matching that surface of that circular screwed surface, what I have to do, I need to extrude it by the same amount on the z axis by 0.8. By the way, I have enabled the screencast tool, so you just follow along if you are missing any um, shortcut key that I am pressing to do any specific operation. Now you can see there is another parameter called iteration. It is said number of time to apply the screw operation. Here it is 1, so it has performed one screw turn at the time it has displaced itself by a height of 0.8. So obviously a screw will have multiple turns. It doesn't matter how many turns, it depends on your requirement. So let's start with a say 8 iteration, and it will create a screws thread length of having 8 turns. Okay, now what I'll do, as it is done, if I just apply it, you will see that it may appears it is working fine, but trust me, it not. By default, this modifier, it creates the normal incorrectly. How to verify that? From this overlaps option, just enable the face orientation. It will shows it. It will show it in red mark. That means normal is facing the opposite way. Okay. So what you need to do after applying this modifier? So if I go to object mode, apply it. Press Control A, press Shift N, and I have corrected my normal. Now it looks fine. Now if you notice, you can see, I don't know if via that YouTube compression of the video it will be visible or not, but if you look closely, there is, it looks some edges are there. Why that is happening? So let me go to edit mode, go to vertex. Let me show you. If you see, these vertex are actually duplicate vertices. Okay, so if you enable the X-ray vision and click and drag these two, you can see it shows two vertex. That means this screw modifier has generated duplicate vertex. How to remove it? Go to control edit mode, select control A, press M, and do merge by distance. You will see now it has removed all the 13 vertex. Now you may ask me, do I need to do it all the time? No. What you can do, let me undo. I will show you easier way to handle this thing. So we are back to the screw modifier. In the normal, let me select calculate order. That will take care of incorrect normal direction. And then what you can do, from this add modifier section, you can just use another modifier that is called weld. That will take care of the duplicate. How to verify that? Just apply it like before. Now go to edit mode, and now if you see, I am not seeing that artifact. And to verify, what you can just press Ctrl A, aim, merge by distance. You will see removed zero vertex. That means the weld modifier has done its job perfectly. Now what I have to do? Tell me. I need to create some loop cuts. Okay. So in order to create a proper loop cut for a screw thread, I will create 3 loop cuts. Okay. And then what I have to do? I need to, this is the middle loop cut, and I need to extrude it along the X and Y axis, not on the Z axis, so that it happens like this. Okay. So before I do that, if you pay close attention, let me actually do one thing. Let me mark these edges at seam, so that I don't, after I make this, correct this topology on this top and bottom part, I don't miss that. Okay. So in order to correct this topology, let me first select these vertex, deselect this vertex, because I need to make these edges parallel, because it is moving on that I need to make it basically collinear, I mean coplanar is the right word for this. Extrude it on the Z axis. Let me choose the pivot point to individual origin, SZ0, move it little bit, and now let me select these edges and press F to fill it. What I did, I have created, if you look at the front perspective, I just basically make this face touching that XY plane properly. Otherwise, it was just floating in the 3D space. I need to do the same thing on the top part. Let me unselect these vertices, extrude it along the Z axis, SZ0, GZ, move it a little bit, and let's fill it up. Okay. Now I'll just extrude it again, just to create a buffer loop here. Now what you need to do, you need to, as you can see here, the face size is pretty standard. Then suddenly we're seeing very big faces. That for this model, if I just apply a sub D, maybe it will not see much problem there, but later if you try to deform it, it will cause problem. So what I will do for now, I'll just and you also see that there is a big n-gon, right? Okay, so n-gons are absolute no-no, and if you see there is some pinching effect happening due to the n-gon, so we need to correct that. How I will correct it? It is very simple. I use the knife cut tool, pressing K, and just cut some topology at this place. Okay, so just follow along me and see how I am making this loop cut. So what I can do, I can just connect it again to here. What it basically does, it creates, instead of having big faces across this region, it will create faces with similar face area. Okay, let's follow the same thing on the top part of it. Okay, now I can do a merge of these two things. Let's take it, drag it across here, and maybe I can just merge it here. Okay, we don't need to be very specific. Let me do a merge by distance. There is no duplicate vertex present. Now I think we are okay to extrude that, just to create that threads. Remember, one thing you need to remember when you are going to extrude a thread to create that thing, it will not happen abruptly, right? From this curved surface, a thread doesn't happen abruptly. For example, if you look at, pay close attention to a thread, see, it is slowly, it is increasing, right? So in about, if I compare it with my approach, I think about 1 2 3 4 fifth turn onward, it will extend maximum to the outside, but when it start, it will be very less. Okay, how to do that? It is again easy. What I'll do, I'll press, let me take the pivot point to the 3D cursor. I'll press S, or I can do one thing, press Alt S, to so that it happens normally. you see I did one mistake. I have chosen this thing. Let me unselect this one. Let me do the same here, and let me scale it along this axis. Okay, now if I go to object mode, you will see that it looks pretty good, right? I don't see any artifacts here. It looks pretty good, but one bad thing is happening, that these vertices are transitioning abruptly. How to correct it? Again, it is very simple. Just follow along me. Let me put the cursor, disable the face orientation, put the, I have a, by the way, I have a Q shortcut is there where I put all the necessary function. If you don't have, you can create it. But for the people who don't have already set it up, I'll just show the shortcut how to put a cursor here. Press Shift S and cursor to the selected. So this 3D cursor is now placed at the center of the bottom circle. Now how to take this cursor, make it almost collinear with this uh, curved surface of the original cylindrical surface. Okay, so what you need to do, as the pivot point is still on 3D cursor, I'll press S and Shift Z. What it will do, it will scale it other than the Z. That means it will scale only along the X and Y to the 3D cursor. So if you see, if I scale it now, it is becoming almost collinear to the surface, and the transition, instead of becoming abruptly, it is becoming gradual. So I will just do it, and I will in my final video, in my final video I will just compress it so that you don't need to follow watch the entire thing. So just bear with me, it will be very quick. Let me just eyeball it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Let me do the same on the top part of it. I'll take cursor to here. Okay, guys, if you have enough time, you can do it on your own. Say here I am doing it first 3-4 vertex. You can, to make it more beautiful, maybe you can take with 5, 8, 10. It's up to you. Okay, I'm not going to judge you for that. So now I think I am done a very good job of it, of modeling this screw, and now I will show you how to create that tip of it, and it so that it doesn't have any pinching effect. So many people, what I have seen, how they do it, they just extrude this along Z, and if I take that cursor to this selected with, as my pivot point is cursor, they just scale it like this, and this just simply, maybe someone just feel it, and if you just feel it, it will cause this pinching effect. Others, they might add a face, okay, and just extrude it. That also causes pinching effect. If you apply grid fill, that also doesn't look nice. Okay, I have also seen some people, what they do is, let me do show you some. These are not good practice. Okay, so what they do, they just scale all the vertex here. Okay, and let me merge if there is a duplicate vertex. Yeah, there were some. Then they just make proportionality on with spherical section, move this vertex on the Z axis. Okay, it will look good, but no, it's still not good, because here I am creating a nasty pole with so many things. See, even if you alternate edges, you remove it, you still have more than 4 edges connecting to a vertex, which is absolute no-no for a subdivision modeling, especially on a curved surface. If it were on a planar surface, it would not have caused any shading artifact, but on a curved surface, having a pole is not a good thing. Okay, so I will show you the right way to do it, so that even though it will create a sharp tip, but it will have no artifact. So just follow along me. Just let me verify that my cursor is at the center of it. Let's say yes, my cursor at the point where I want. I will just tab out of it, and before doing that, let me verify what are the number of vertices there. I see there are 16 vertices. So what I have to do, I need to add a circle there, circle with 8 vertex. Now let me scale it just to align it roughly here. Why I choose 8 vertex? Because I will start applying only one level of subdivision. So with one subdivision 8 vertex circle will become of 16 vertex. That 16 vertex will match with the vertex where I want to merge to this one. Okay, so let's control 1, and now to align it properly, what I have to do, I need to go to the bottom perspective. 7 is the top perspective, control 7 will do the bottom perspective. Okay, so for this selected vertex, let's go to edit mode. You can see this is that in the object mode, this is the data, and this is after modifier is applied, this is what will happen. Now what I'll do, just scale it roughly to this shape. I think I'm near to that. Let me verify. Yeah, this is almost there. Okay, so I just manually aligning it. I can see there is some overlap is happening, but we are okay with it. We'll manually eyeball that thing. Now that is another pitfall of using 16 vertex. If you do the same approach with 32 vertex, you will see that circles will align, and that deviation in error for matching these two circular uh, things will be very negligible. Okay, so I think that is done. Now I don't need this subdivision at this point. What I will do now, I will just create some face here. How to do that? Extrude S0, that has connected all the vertices at the center, and let me remove the duplicate vertex, because every time you select vertex and merge them at a center, it does create a duplicate vertex. Now again I'll go to the front orthographic view, disable the proportional edit, and just drag it along Z axis until and unless you are happy with the overall shape of it. Now if you do that and leave it just like that, you will see it still contains this pole with more than 4 edges, and beginning of the tutorial I showed you we don't do that. So what you need to do, so I will show you this trick. Pay close attention. I use the knife tool, enable A so that it is constrained on a given line, and press C to cut through it. Now I will just cut through this thing. Now I go to edge mode and enable the X-ray vision so that I select the opposite edge. Okay, and also select the alternate edge like this one and this one. I will just simply dissolve it. Once I dissolve it, you see I have created a beautiful quad face. That means I have done a very good job. Okay, now I can just simply apply this, and as you can see this vertex, there is small deviation. As I mentioned, this is the pitfall of using 16 vertex thing. When you try it with 32 vertex, you will not see this. And for this one, let me disable that what is that uh, subdivision modifier, because now I already have it with 16 vertex, and this object also have the edge with 16 vertex. So what I need to do, I need to just scale it so that scale just a little bit so that it matches. I'll get properly aligned to this edge, right? So that when I'll merge these two, they will not cause any issue. Okay, let me scale it. Let me check the scale of this item. There is no scaling mismatch. Same apply here. So we are good to join these two objects. Okay, now let me go Control A, M, merge by distance, and voila, it says removed 16 vertex. And if you remember the initial part of creating the tape, we started with the same 16 vertex. That means all the duplicate vertex which got created here, they got removed. And so now if I apply Control 2 subdivision again, apply shade smooth and disable the X-ray vision, you will see that our job is done. Look at this beautiful tip now. Okay, no shading effects here. To verify that, let me go to the matte cap, choose a matte cap of this thing. You'll see, look at this. So this is a very nice nice trick that I have learned from some of the YouTube user, and following that you can use it in any other place as well. Okay, So let me go back to the studio shader mode, and let's quickly create the head of it. I'll just extrude Z along this axis and take the cursor to this place, scale it like this, and yeah, that's it. I think now let me do it individual origin, and yeah, I think this is a very good looking screw head that we have done. I just scale it a bit, or then I'll just fill it like this. And I think now what I can do is I can just connect this thing again. You can follow along with other approach as well. I'm just, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just doing it, just creating, merging, changing the polygon, that's it. Okay. And as you can see, with 16 vertex, my room of manipulation is very limited. You can see, even if I wanted to create a sharp thing, I cannot use it using utilizing the same vertex count 16. With 32 vertex, it will be easy to create a sharp corner out of it, but with 16 vertex, it is really not possible unless you use Boolean cut. But that will have its own problems. Okay, so let me just quickly create a simple cut out of it, and then when I will create in the next tutorial, when I will create a uh, tip or the head part of it with 32 vertex, then you will see why I was insisting on creating a vertex with 32. Okay, so for the insert operation, remember to enable this edge rail, otherwise it will cause small artifacts. We don't want that. So after doing the insert, just delete the faces, and next what I need to do, I just need to use the go to edit mode, choose the opposite edges, do a fill edge, select this edge, select fill. Now how this thing happen, because this thing to make it happen, you need to enable another add-on called F2. It is also very useful tool add-on. Please enable it. If you don't have it, it will make your life very easy. Now what I need to do, add a loop cut, and with vertex snapping on, I just snap it to this vertex. Similarly, to go to the other side, I can snap to this vertex as well as this vertex. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll just select these two opposite edge, do a fill, this two edge, do fill. That is one way of doing it. Another way is that you can just click this one edge. That is also fine. Both the way works equally. Okay. Same applies for here. Same applies for here. Select the edge. Now, if you look into this, it looks very, if I enable this on edit mode, it looks very not that much deep, right? Because what I did I did not pay too much attention on that uh, curvature of it, and that will happen if you follow with 16 vertex, right? So I'll just quickly add some bevel here, and I will call it a day for now. But you know, with 16 vertex, it will be much easy to do the make it a bit more deep. So what we can do, just for the sake of showing it, let me try to undo to multiple steps. I think, yeah, no, I think I can move this a bit down. Then we can make that screw depth cut a bit deeper. Okay, so that it looks much better. Let me insert it again. Yeah, and if you look into that, now if I just do the same activity what I did last time and add the loop tool, I think it is causing some problem. Okay, okay. Let me do the fill here, fill here, fill here, fill, fill, fill. Okay, And now what I'll do, I'll just select these edges and we'll apply our trusted bevel modifier to create a nice edge. Okay, I'll make the profile shape 1 so that it doesn't deform the geometry, and that's it. Now you can see that there are some n-gons, but as I told you beginning of the tutorial, that if the n-gons are present on a planar surface, it doesn't cause any problem, but still we don't want to do it. Let's learn to correct it. I'll just apply 3 loop cuts here. Select the phrase, Control F, grid fill, phrase, Control F, grid fill. Now it has created that topology properly. Okay, so yeah, that concludes the first part of the tutorial of modeling a screw in proper way. You can see that what I have done, I have maybe it looks not that good. The head might not look good, so you are free to, you are welcome to change it according to your own liking. Let me, sorry, let me do it like this. I think I need to select this for a thing as well. Yeah, I think this looks much better now. Okay, but if you understood the principle, design principle behind this thing, I think then you can do any shape that you want and it will look nice without any artifact or issue. So like that, what I showed at the beginning of it, just look into this. It looks very nice. You see there is some small pinching that will happen because I am using 16 vertex. Once you crank up that vertex count, you will not see anything. Okay, so here I concluding my this presentation. Please share your feedback.